All right, good morning, beautiful people, on a sunny-filled, sun-soaked January 30th. Hopefully it's as beautiful as yesterday. We'll see. I did watch WISN Morning 12 News, and Mark Baden told me that we'll have above average temperatures the next 2 weeks, so make sure you take advantage of it. But no, in all seriousness, sorry I missed you guys last week. I was actually on a leadership retreat, all trying to figure out learning the dynamics of family businesses and how you navigate those dynamics. It was good. It was good. Learned a lot. But learned a lot from a variety of different folks of how you navigate different relationships. So thanks guys I know Mandy and Josh and the rest of the team kind of jumped in to help lead team meeting while I was out last week. And so I appreciate those guys for doing it. Cool. So we'll get rocking and rolling. Going into our mission, vision, values, beliefs, and perspectives. A couple things I wanted to just touch on here as we start out the meeting is a couple things. One, in terms of building communities and giving back to those that we serve. There's an opportunity that's available to our community next week. Something near and dear to my heart that I'd encourage you guys to take a look at if you have the time to participate in. But I serve on a task force committee for Axe Housing. And if you are unfamiliar with Axe's whole mission is, it's kind of a threefold approach. One is buyer coaching to help people get their financial readiness to a point where they can purchase homes. Two, a big thing that they've been taking on in the last 2 years, and something that I've been focused on and helping them and supporting them, is they started a $100 million fund called the Acquisition Fund. And in 2023, depending on the zip codes you look at, there are some zip codes where as high as 2/3 of the total single family inventory is owned by out-of-state investors. And so they started this fund, this $100 million fund, with a 5-year goal to acquire 100 homes a year. Okay. In the first year, they acquired 12 homes. Last year, we acquired 37 homes. This year, our goal is to acquire 75 homes. And we think within years 3 to 4 within the acquisition fund, we'll be able to get to 100 homes a year, which we then can take buyers within our program to then take homes or put Milwaukee residents into Milwaukee homes, if that makes sense. So they're doing some really, really great work to help, as I would say, mind the gap within our community. So there's an opportunity for you to take a look at that. The other thing that I wanted to just call out is, I know last week these guys mentioned it, was MLS is offering scholarships to graduating seniors. Many of you have graduating seniors within the community. Many people don't take advantage of this. I've written many letters of recommendation for a variety of different kids within our KW communities. Lots of money that the MLS gives away. If you have a graduating senior, take advantage of the opportunity. And if you need someone to write a letter of recommendation, reach out to someone on the leadership team, because we want to be able to help our graduating seniors take advantage of the money that's available. And if your graduating seniors are anything like me, deadlines spur action, and there's more money available than those who actually sign up to take advantage of it. So if we can get an inordinate amount of our seniors to take advantage of this money so that we can help more of our KW kids get some of these dollars, please do so, and the leadership team is willing to help you. Cool? All right. I started with this, but I wanted to put this on your radar. Next week, Tuesday, February 6th, is the Axe Housing Affordable Homeownership Town Hall. Okay? If you're interested in the mission of what Axe does and how they're supporting our community and what it is that they do, I'd encourage you to join me along with hundreds of others who have joined us in the past. Next week, Tuesday, February 6th, the QR code is how you can register. 11:30 to 12 is registration and networking. I'll tell you, it's a very interesting room to be a part of. Everybody from politicians to major business leaders to everyone in between. A lot of people last year when we participated in this, there were a lot of people interested in how we help our community move forward. And there are a lot of people very interested in utilizing the opportunity of home ownership to help solve a lot of other problems that our community faces. And how, if you really look at the statistics of home ownership, when you have someone who owns a home that can help create generational wealth for their families and create forced savings from the equity in their net balance sheet, the metrics as it relates to health, crime, safety, a lot of other things really are impacted by helping families get into single family homes. So that's next week, Tuesday, February 6th at Marquette University Law School in Eckstein Hall. So make sure you register. Lunch is included. Last year, we had about 54 of our KW community who attended out of roughly, I think, 300 attendees. It's a really powerful morning, and I just wanted to make sure that we put this on your guys' radar if you are so moved to participate in the town hall next week. Sound good? Beautiful. Next week, Tuesday, February 6th. All right. I'm shifting it up a little bit in terms of some of the things I wanted to talk to you about, and I want to give you a market perspective up front, okay? It's January 30th. As my first grader told me, Dad, we're 1/10 of the way through the year, or 1/12 of the way through the year last night. And I was like, all right, Chase, I see you. 1/12 of the way through the year. Yet if you're 90 days out, you're effectively through your first quarter. Okay? And there's something I want to challenge your mindsets with. 25,191. Okay? For those of you who've been around a while, you should know what this number represents. The other number, 39,628, is another number within the marketplace. Anybody have an idea as to what these numbers represent?
Number of licensed agents.
No. Good guess though, Ross. I like it. 25,191 new listings came to the market last year. Okay. 25,000 new listings came to the market. For most of you, as it relates to your standards and the goals that you're trying to achieve, you are trying to achieve a fraction of 25,000. Okay. 39,628. Anybody know what that represents? No. Total transactional sides that closed in 2023. I like where your head's at though, Brew. Thinking the tide is rising. Okay. And so my challenge to you is this. Okay. If you look back in terms of the arc and trajectory of the market, okay, 2019, the tide was rising. 2020, the tide was rising. 2021, quite frankly, the tide crested. And then in 2022, the tide receded. In 2023, not to put an interesting spin on this, it's the worst year in residential real estate and closed transactional volume since 2008. Okay, about 4.1 million total closed transactional units. Okay, across the US. Now, all indications are leading to that 2024, and I'm starting to see this in January. I'll dive more into that next week. Okay, 2024, we're starting to see the tide come back. A lot of factors at play. Okay, so my question to you as you sit here almost through your first quarter is this. What has your career trajectory looked like over the last 5 to 6 years? Are you following the trends of the tide, or are you bucking the trends of the tide? Many of you are bucking the trends of the tide. And what is the outcome of your leadership? Okay. The outcome of leadership is something that happens that was not going to happen or expected to happen. Many of you had your best years ever in 2023. I know it because I see it. Okay. And many of you then also rationalized or justified your results in 2023 based on the way the market gave you. Okay. And many of you didn't justify or rationalize. So my question to you is, what is your leadership within your business or your life? What is your impact? And what are you changing based on your trend? If your trend went the wrong way in 23, what are you doing to rationally change it in 24? If you rationally change your trend in 23 versus the relative performance of the market, what are you doing to extend that trend in order to continue to hypercharge your business? Someone is doing it. There were 25,000 listings. There was 39,000 closings. There's more than enough of it business to go around within this room. Someone is going to close one of those 39,000 units. The question is it you or is it your neighbor? Okay. How you approach and attack your mindset heading into 2024 is vitally important as to the standards you set within your business. So my questions to you is, one, are you done? I would argue that no, the answer is no. You know why? Because if you were done, you would be part of the 20 to 25% of the industry that got out of the business in 2023. And if you're still sitting here in 2024, it means you were able to survive a really, really difficult year. You were able to put together the things that you needed to put together in order for you to continue to play the infinite game. Okay. If you look at 25,191 new listings and you say, I can't achieve my goals this year, you are in your own freaking way. And we got to figure out a way to help you get out of your own way. It's 25,000 listings. Most of you are trying to take 10, 15, 20. At most, you're trying to take 200 to 300 listings. 300 of 25,000 is an insignificant rounding error. There's plenty of business to go around. So my challenge to you is pick something really big and go after it. Pick something really big and go after it, because if the tide's going to rise, it means there's going to be close to 30,000 listings next year if there's a 10% increase. Okay. So my question to you as you sit here and we're starting to round out the first quarter, which sounds crazy to talk about here on January 30th, is what are your goals and what are your standards? A lot of people have goals, but they're, quite frankly, it's a bunch of hot air. Okay. There's a phrase I use all the time, and a lot of you have heard this, but the standard is the standard. If your goals are your standards, they become easy to achieve. What is your standard? There's 25 freaking thousand listings. There's 39,000 closings. Most of you are trying to do less than 100. Okay. And I shared a story with you guys last year that I love. I was having a conversation with a friend of mine who works for Ted Kellner. Okay. If you don't know Ted, Ted is probably one of the most philanthropic, most successful people in Southeastern Wisconsin. And I said, Jonathan, how did you guys do last year? And he said, wasn't a great year. We were down X at fiduciary, but the market, and I said, but Jonathan, the market was down. Why? And he said, do you know who I work for? I work for Ted Kellner. Ted Kellner does not believe in relative performance. He believes in absolute performance. And I said, boom. So the question I have for you as you sit down and look at your first quarter is, you have relative performance and you have absolute performance. You have 25,000 listings, you have 39,000 closings. What are your standards and what are you going to achieve in 2024? Make sense? There you go. I wanted to set your mindset off right as we head into the first quarter, or finish out the first quarter, and really start to ramp up into March through September is 70% of the overall residential transactional sales. You are heading into the peak of your season. How you attack the peak of your season will determine your outcome in 24. And if you're sitting here in September and you're already off track, there isn't enough business September through December for you to catch up. So the time to go is now. You feel me? Okay, here we go. So with that, we have a few finance and operations updates for you. 2023 tax documents, okay? Profit share 1099s. I'm aware that most people are starting to receive them in the mail. If you have not received them, make sure that you're paying attention to your mail, okay? Profit share 1099s are also coming out. If you receive profit share in 2023, there was $866,000 that was shared last year. Many of you received it. Pay on the lookout for your profit share 1099s, okay? Lastly, expense reports came out from various leadership team members via email, okay? So make sure that you're looking for your expense reports, provided closed DA reports, expenses, deduction reports, all of that came via email this year. If you don't recall receiving it already, which I know it's already come out, make sure you reach out to one of the leadership team members so we can get you your expense reports so that you're not overpaying Uncle Sam. Cool? All right. With that, I'm flipping it over to Lindsay Vranek, who's going to give you a little bit of the latest updates to Command.
All right. Good morning, everybody. So Keller Williams is not slowing down when it comes to new updates in Command. Just in the last month, they've released over 10 different feature enhancements. So really exciting stuff. And I just wanted to take a few minutes to go through some of the most important and what I think are the most beneficial upgrades in order to serve your business. One of the larger updates that they released in the last month are team sites. So not only do you have new agent sites, but they've now teamified them. So these are live. If you're on a team and you're looking to kind of move that site into a team site, you can do so. One of the things included in this is that you can now complete your team marketing profile. So that's where you're going to upload your team logo, your team's contact information, slogan, different social media profiles, and some other things pertaining to your website. Once you go through and you save this information, a new section is going to actually appear to create and manage your team website domain name. So if you want to stick with your current domain name, you can transfer that. Otherwise, you can create your new subdomain, and you're going to do that all within that marketing profile. Once you complete that team marketing profile, it does take up to 2 hours for your site to actually go live and for you to actually go in and claim that domain. So just wanted to point that out in case you're in there and you're working on that. But they're live, they're ready to go. And so it's very similar in terms of how you actually edit the site. The only difference is in the agent website builder, you can toggle between your personal site and your team website. But otherwise, it's the same functionality in terms of different custom pages that you can create, customizing the home page, and all of that sort of thing. In addition to agent sites, there's now a few different custom page options that are now available. So they rolled out custom pages and landing pages about a month ago, but they are still adding new things where you can go in and create some different pages. So really exciting stuff, including a home valuation module that you can plug and play into some of these different custom pages and landing pages. So it's another lead capture opportunity. Site visitors can enter their home address along with the lead capture information, their contact information, and it's going to pull a home value estimate for them. So they plug in that information and it automatically pops up for them while they're on your website. You as the agent are going to get notified via email in the Command app with their information and that home value estimate. So all of that information is then going to live within the contact applet in Command. So here are just a few different screenshots. The one at the top of the screen is just what the module is going to look like when you plug that into a custom page. And then over here, that home valuation, that's what it's going to look like on your actual website. The middle screenshot here is going to showcase what it's going to look like when it actually pulls in that home value estimate and what the consumer is going to see. And then just a little screenshot of what that lead email is going to look like when you receive that. Another custom page option, another module that you can input, preferred vendors. So this has always been part of your about page, but you can now plug this into really any page of your website. So you can showcase preferred vendor partners on this page along with their contact information. Another really great lead capture opportunity for site visitors who want to learn more about these vendor partners. So again, just a couple screenshots of how that's going to look when you're setting that up. And then what it's going to look like on that live website. Smarter Smart Plan. So this one's really exciting. It's a brand new smarter look. So when you are creating your own custom smart plans, if you're editing existing smart plans, totally different look and workflow to how you set that up. There's drag and drop functionality as you see on the screen. You can also set the time of day. So there's different settings for when you're setting up different tasks, when you want to make a phone call, send out an email. So you can set, morning, afternoon, evening, and you can get just more specific with exactly when these tasks or emails are going out. As you can see, there's more visibility into the smart plan details. So that workflow is a lot more streamlined as you're setting this up. And there's more to come, you guys. So they are working on auto remove rules. So kind of if they reply to an email, they'll get removed from a smart plan. Some of that functionality is in the works. So stay tuned for more. And finally, this is a smaller upgrade, but I think it's a really important one. Database cleanup has been added within your settings in Command. So, we're all trying to clean up our database. as often as we can. So this is going to make it way easier when doing that. So it's going to check for duplicate contacts. You don't have to visually go scroll through your list of contacts and check off the duplicates that you see. The system's going to do that for you now. You're able to then merge those contacts and you can see the contact information side by side, as you can see on this screenshot. And so you're going to be able to then merge them from there. You can also view your merge history. So you get a little bit more insight into some of that history and some of the contacts that are in your database. So once that duplicate scan is complete, you're going to get a command notification letting you know with a link to review those duplicates. And again, this is all located in your settings as well. All right. Finally, just going over some of the different trainings that we have available in February. We're going to dive into some of these new feature upgrades through some of our trainings this month. But this Thursday, February 1st, you guys, it's the first already on Thursday, which is crazy. So we're going to talk about circle prospecting with direct mail campaigns. So it's usually a really popular topic. So keep in mind this Thursday and next Thursday, we're still going to do the 2 p.m. Time because of Ignite. So just wanted to point that out. Next week, we are going to go into those new smart plan features. And then the 15th, social media basics. So it's a really great training for those who just want to kind of get their feet wet with different social media, you know, tips and tricks and kind of best practices with that. And then the 22nd, we're going to go back into agent sites a little bit more and exactly how you can market your website in order to promote your business. So some really great trainings coming up. I really encourage you guys to plug in or check out the YouTube channel because these are always going to be recorded. And that's it. Thank you.
All right, write this down. Lean into Lindsay. Lean into Lindsay. She can make your life easier. We've talked about leverage is the new hustle. Lean into Lindsay. She can do a lot for you that you are unaware of the capabilities of your platform that can help make your life easier. Got it? I think your new segment's called Lean into Lindsay. All right. Now, going back to a more serious topic. Okay. I've been working kind of quietly until this week where the lid kind of popped off around 4 very strategic key initiatives that I've been driving with the GMAR and MLS. It started last fall when I got really excited. Well, let me back up. I was invited to the GMAR board strategic planning meeting for the next 3 years. I was the only non-board member invited. I sat there for a long time listening to these guys pontificate. And then I got really excited and just said, fuck it, here we go. And I got really excited around what they were talking about, where I think that we need to elevate what it is that we do and move faster to how we serve our consumers. We are working in a world of consumer empowerment. There is no lie about that. And if you aren't understanding that reality, that's where we are. Okay. So what I'm going to share with you, I am publicly telling you these are my key strategic priorities that I am leaning heavily into with GMAR and MLS on your behalf. And I am leveraging our scale as an organization to try and push our weight around to help get some of these things done. Now, what I don't want you to hear is that I'm promising you that I will get anything done. If you know anything about the GMAR and the MLS, it's like politics in Washington. Okay. A lot of things get talked about. A lot of things sometimes get done and sometimes don't get done. Okay. I have to be careful what I say in a very public forum. But I want to share with you because this week, a peer of ours, who I give a ton of credit to, had a little bit of a breakthrough moment. And my phone was blowing up all day Sunday and all day Monday about what this person is doing. And what I will say is I give her a ton of credit. She did a ton of work and a ton of legwork to get a breakthrough that I've trying to been pushed for very quietly for the last year. And now I'm not being very quiet about it, and I'm being very public about it to put a lot more pressure on these guys to make some enhancements to how we operate within our industry. So I'm sharing this with you because I think the lid's kind of blown off on some of this, and I want you to understand where I'm coming from as how I push on the association and the MLS. Make sense? So before I give you what my four strategic priorities are, I have to help you understand the rationale for why I'm pushing for these things. Okay. One, and I'm going to read this because I can fly off the handle a little bit and I want to make sure I don't get in trouble. In the age of agent empowerment, we need to ensure that we are providing realtors with all the necessary tools to enhance their ability to deliver on their fiduciary responsibilities, which I believe should be standardized practices for all in the industry. In the age of consumer empowerment, we need to ensure that all consumers have access to all relevant information relative to the market so they can make the most prepared and informed decisions. And three, agents have the ability to weaponize loopholes within the system. So let's close the loopholes to even the playing field, which I think will mitigate a lot of the BS ethics and morals complaints. Okay. Those are kind of like where I'm coming from. And it took me a long time to think about how do I say this in the most politically correct way. Okay. Here's the four strategic priorities that I want you to know I'm pushing on, and I have been pushing very hard quietly in the background. Okay. One, allow for individual agent IDX feeds. Okay. Here's why I think this is important. In Milwaukee, we are one of only 2 major metropolitan markets across the US that doesn't allow for individual agent IDX feeds. There's a lot of reasons for that I won't get into in this forum. However, here's what I will tell you. If Houston with 25,000 members and Chicago with roughly similar licensed members can figure it out from a compliance standpoint, our 5,000 Metro MLS membership should be able to figure out how we comply with an individual agent IDX feed. Okay. 2, syndication of delayed listings. There's a lot of reasons why this should happen. Okay. Here's my personal belief. One, from the agent side in terms of creating balance, and I'll just tell you my own personal story because I think it's kind of funny. When I wake up in the morning, or when Megan wakes up in the morning and we're lying in bed and the first thing she does is kind of grab her phone, you know, I go to Twitter, I look at social media, I'm like looking at my email. No, you know what she scrolls through? The freaking hot sheet, right? The hot sheet. And it drives me nuts. And I said, why are you looking at the hot sheet? I mean, I understand why she's looking at the hot sheet. But here's my point. I know that there are times where you guys get in trouble because you can't keep up with the speed of the hot sheet. So your client finds out about a property in a different avenue or path that then puts you in a tough spot, right? And I don't think that's fair for you. And I also don't think that's fair for the balance that you should have in your life, so that you, on a Saturday morning, if you want to go to a soccer game or a basketball game, you shouldn't be worried about what's coming up on the hot sheet. And you should be worried about how the hell you get your kids to the basketball game on time. At least that's what my household's like, right? 2, in terms of syndication of delayed listings, there is a very, very strong and valid argument that I could make around fair housing and the access to information and providing consumers access, a level playing field in terms of the access to the information, so that people are not left out as to what's coming in a very hyper-competitive environment. I think there's a very fair and valid argument to make as it relates to syndicating delayed listings correlative to how fair housing should be properly deployed. Make sense? 3, you'll get me really excited on this, but I think there should be standards around the 48-hour rule for new listings. Let me help you understand. If an agent has the opportunity to create a full-blown marketing package, and the marketing package is live for 48 hours before it hits the MLS, I would argue that there's a clear and direct violation of clear cooperation. And my argument is, cool, if you want to have a full-blown marketing package, the minute the marketing package goes live is the minute it should be live in the MLS. And this rule has been in place for 35 years. With the advent of technology and the way people are working today, they should be able to enter their listings in the MLS at the same time they launch their $10,000 marketing package that they probably spent way too much money on, right? And so I also believe a lot of ethics and morals complaints would go away with creating standards to the rule. I get it. Some companies need the rule because of how they operate. That's cool. Just don't have a $10,000 drone package that is like glitz and glam about everything about a house while your admin waits 48 hours to enter it. You can't have your cake and eat it too. You got to figure it out, right? Lastly, which I know is a hot button topic, and Joan will talk about this here briefly in a second, is the functionality of aligned showings. Okay, I'm a big believer into the theory, and I've sat here before, and we had a whole team meeting around aligned showings, and I was really pushing, and I'm a big advocate for why aligned showings should be a powerful platform in our environment, in the purpose behind aligned showings. Now, I also understand the functionality of aligned showings does not allow you to do your job at the highest possible level at its current state. So I'm working to elevate and expedite the functionality of aligned showings and how you guys operate and utilize it within the space. Okay. So I share this with you because I want to be transparent with you in how I'm leaning into leveraging our scale to help make meaningful change. And I've been doing it quietly for about 12 months. And now I think the time is to become a bit more public with my desires in terms of how we need to evolutionize our industry. And if you have thoughts, feedbacks, comment, feel free to shoot me a note. But I'm pushing hard, and I'm going to be pushing harder starting Wednesday when I have a meeting with some key stakeholders around these priorities. Make sense? But I wanted you to understand where I'm coming from and how we as an organization are pushing priorities to support you and elevate your ability to enhance your fiduciary. Make sense? Yes, question.
You explain to those who may not know what an agent IDX is.
Yeah, the question was, can you just expand upon what an individual agent IDX feed is now? So an individual agent, the way the MLS operates now is brokers are the only ones who can control a data feed direct from the MLS. And then there are ways that we have to help you either frame it or create a dummy site in order for you guys to get access to your own direct data feed. And there's a lot of technicality that goes into that. But it's controlled by the brokerage, but then gives you access. My belief is give the agents the access. What the heck are we hiding from? Why do the brokers need to control it? There are arguments on the other side of the aisle that inhibit certain brokerage business practices that they are protecting. Okay? I won't get into that in this forum, but just know that some of our peers that are protecting themselves through this policy is because they have business practices where the brokerage controlling the IDX feed supports their business practices and how they make additional revenue. I'm not a believer in the policy, never have, never will be. And I think it creates interference for your guys' ability to do your job. You can take with that. You can read into that as much as you'd like. Cool. Any other quick questions? So stay tuned. Just know that I'm working on these for you in the background. I'm pushing very hard, but there were some things that happened over the weekend that I said, okay, it's time to become public. And these were things that I was working on well before what happened over the weekend. And stay tuned as to where this goes. I can't promise that they will get done, but know that I'm pushing for these things on your behalf. Yes. Yes. The question was, is there anything that we can do? Let us know if there's anything that we can do to support your efforts. I'll probably let you know next week. I have an important meeting this week that will help me determine the path we choose to take moving forward. Cool? Sweet. Stay tuned. A lot going on, but just know I wanted you guys to hear directly from me as to how I'm pushing on your behalf in order to be an advocate for you within the industry. Cool. All right. With that, I'm flipping it over to Sheriff Reed, who has a few updates, some of it correlative to our strategic priorities. So, Sheriff Reed, over to you.
Thank you, Charlie. Good morning, everybody. Yeah, what I'm dealing with. I just am so excited about Charlie's encouraging drive to grow our communication with MLS, to grow our communication with the public, and clean up some of these issues. In the meantime, we have to deal with MLS and their current rules and their current efforts. So MLS sent out an email last week, and they're saying thank you for your support in Align showings, and they have over 12,000 showings booked through Align. But then they come in with the reality: your feedback has been invaluable to us because there have been some glitches and some problems with using Align showings. We are actively working on enhancing the product based on your insights. In addressing the key concern raised by our members, the feature to limit the number of overlapping showings is already live in Align showings. So the point of this email was, we hear you, and we know that there's some complaints out there. And Steph and I have received calls, so we know that several of you have complaints as well. So I just wanted to update you on what MLS is going to do now. So that's the next slide. As a company, and I champion Charlie's initiative in this, we took a very proactive approach to using Align showings. We were given the information at that time that it was rolling out, we could get it started, we could start using it, and then Showing Time, our previous function of showings, was going to continue until February 1st. Well, that's tomorrow. And obviously, a lot of these glitches have not been addressed or resolved at this point. So what MLS is doing now is they are saying Showing Time is going to continue for several more months. They're not giving an end date, but they're allowing us, with problems that we have with Align showings, that you could still go back and use Showing Time at least for a few more months. So you can use either one, you could use them both, whatever you want to do. But I think the message is MLS has heard you, and they are working to improve Align showings, and that in the meantime, we can choose whatever we want to do and work with whatever we do. Keeping up with MLS and their rules, our rules to play our game. Next slide. We get a lot of questions. Steph and I get a lot of questions like, what are we supposed to do? Can we have showings and withdrawn? A lot of questions like that about how many days do we have to do this? And do we have to put in for sale by owner? Or do we have to put in single party listings? All of those are set up for you. If you go to the homepage of MLS Flex, and you go down to the bottom, and I put a blue background because they're in a blue background on the homepage, and go down to where it says rules, click on data integrity, and there is a pamphlet of almost every rule you can think of that MLS has set. It's sure a lot more rules than it was when I started in MLS or started in real estate. So their rules keep growing, and it's sometimes hard to keep up with all of them. But this is a place where you can actually go in, see what it says word by word on what you should do about delayed showings, or what you should do about entering your listings, or what you should do about Align showings. There's a section on that. But go to that, open up the rules and regulations, see for yourself exactly how you should be reacting and about the rules that are in existence. I love the initiative that Charlie is taking about getting a lot of this cleared up between MLS, the board, and our agents in the Milwaukee metropolitan area. We do need that. It has become a web of information that is sometimes over everybody's head. So what I'm doing now is, as we exist now, this is where you find out what the rules are. And there are so many tattletales in tattletales in this business that if you are not following the rules, there definitely is an agent out there that's going to turn you in. So that's where I want you to be clear, know what you're doing. Still, always feel free to call staff or me about questions you have, but I just wanted to give you access. At the bottom of this, it says contact us. And I added there the actual phone number and go to extension 2 when you call MLS. They are wonderful. They're very responsive. They will listen to you, explain it to you, and they answer right away. It's not something that you have to wait for a while. So that also on this page is a rules quiz. You have to interactive do it on that page, but there are 10 questions that challenge you of how well you know the rules. I didn't get 100%, which I'm a little embarrassed about, but take it yourself, see how well you are up to speed with the rules of MLS. And I had to go back and look at the correct answer. So that's basically what I have. I think, is that the last? No, there's one more slide, I think.
That's it.
That's it. Okay, just compliance talking.
So over and out.
Yeah,
Sheriff Reed, if she didn't get 100%, it tells you how complex the rules are within the MLS. And if you have questions, feel free to reach out to Sheriff Reed or Steph, and they're here to help support you. Cool. All right, rounding it out. Here you go. Guys, I'm going to give you something to think about as it relates to training and education. You're here in Q1, okay? 70% of the business is about to explode March through September, okay? Your business will grow to the extent that you do. You will grow to the extent of those whom you surround yourself with. Your business will grow to the extent that you do. You will grow to the extent of those whom you surround yourself with, okay? The purpose behind the training and education, besides the content, is who you're doing it with and who you're learning through. Okay. It's the beauty of Ignite. It's the beauty of some of the things that we do with Bold and a variety of other things, because we believe in the power of community and how iron sharpens iron. Okay. We've shared this. Some of you have seen it, but the power of this is a couple things I want to point out. The power of the community that you're associated to, 1.9 billion in closed sales volume. The group outperformed the market last year by 35%. We have the highest per agent productivity in Southeastern Wisconsin, closed 5,000 units. Local economic impact in terms of what we give out from an economic standpoint, over 60 million, and we gave over $100,000 to our community last year. Okay. The reason I bring this up is exactly this. You will continue to grow as those who you surround yourself with, and how you continue to focus on yourself in order to elevate what it is that you do, because you can change the trajectory of your arc with absolute performance. Okay. So what do we got coming down the pike? Couple things. One, we have an upcoming required meeting. If you have not completed your first 5 transactions and you are in the PC program, we expect to see you on Thursday, February 8th from 3 to 3:30. We're going to reset standards and expectations, because the standard is the standard. Here's what I know. Our job is to get you into your first 5 transactions as fast as humanly possible. If we can't get you there, there's a high likelihood you'll be part of the 80% who doesn't make it to year 2. Okay. You need it and we need it in order to help you grow and elevate. We need to see you on Thursday, February 8th. Make sense? Stay tuned. For those of you that this impacts, trust me, you'll be hearing more from us. If you don't hear from us, it means this is not relative to you. Okay. Next, February training calendar. A couple things I want to call out. Ignite is still ongoing. Okay. Ignite is still ongoing. If you've fallen off, fall back in. There are things you can learn from your peers that are doing this business at a high level. A couple other things. Next week, direct mail marketing, or this week, direct mail marketing is on Thursday at 2:00. There is an FTC meeting in the North Shore on Friday evening at 5:30 with an incredibly powerful panel. If you don't know what it is, you should probably figure it out, right, Shawnee? All right. Then next week, a couple other things to call out. There's an APHW Lunch and Learn. We've had a few questions as it relates to the power of the policy with APHW. So Jenny Klug will be around to help you understand that. And then there's the mandatory PC meeting. Stay tuned. If this impacts you, you will know. We will reach out to you directly. Okay. A couple other things to point out. Wednesday, February 14th at 11:00. A lot of people have been asking, how do I build a team? I want to build a team. What do I do? We're going to give you the tips, tricks, everything you should do and everything you shouldn't do around if you want to build a team or you're starting a team. Trust me, I've seen it all. I can tell you exactly what you shouldn't do. And then when you start doing those shouldn't things, I'll tell you, told you so, right? I've seen more teams fail than I've seen succeed. And that's not indicative to those that start teams. It's indicative to how they structure their teams to set them up for success. So if you're interested in that, Wednesday, February 14th at 11. Last week, we hosted an incredible mastermind all around real estate investing. We're going to host this on a monthly. It's down in the Southwest training calendar. The class times are 1 to 3 o'clock once a month. You can see the dates there through the rest of the year. It was an incredibly powerful conversation. If you're interested in learning how to build equity and build your net worth through the power of investing in real estate, what's the power of it? It's one of the few assets that you can put 20% down and have somebody else pay 80% of the way to the equity. Okay. And it will continue to grow theoretically, historically over time. Okay. So take a look for that. Next up, family reunion. It's kind of a last call. I'm not even sure if there's tickets, but if there are, you should probably sign up. Just note that we are directing people because of how big Vegas is. There isn't a hotel room block that we historically had done for family reunion, but we are directing people to reserve at the MGM Grand, which is directly across the street from Mandalay Bay. If you've signed up for the Luxor or some of these other hotels, just know it's all generally in the same area. The reason why we did the MGM, it's walkable within 10 minutes. And we weren't asking you to spend $1,000 a night on a hotel in some of these other spots, which that you then have to spend $100 on an Uber to get to the event. I mean, it's Vegas is holy cow. So if you're looking where the group is staying, it's at the MGM Grand. Mandy sent out a note for those who have already registered with a no before you go. Make sure you tune into that. There's a lot of detail to that will answer a lot of your questions. Lastly, last up, North Shore and Innovation Awards are February 13th, 9 to 11. There will be no team meeting that morning because we will have February 13th agent awards for North Shore and TOSA. Submit your agent choices today. And then Lake Country will be doing it on Thursday, February 15th from 9 to 11. Also, you can RSVP through the QR code February 15th out in Lake Country. Sound good? Beautiful. All right. Guys, the standard is the standard. What's your standard? 25,000 new listings, 39,000 closed units. Most of you are just trying to do a fraction of that. Set your standards, go achieve them, attack it as we head into the first quarter and second quarter. And guys, we're here to support you in order to elevate and enhance what it is that you do. Got any questions? Reach out to a leadership team member. The world is run by those who show up. Guys, thanks for showing up. Thanks, guys.